What's up, Pisces? I feel a call to adventure for you. Unfortunately, if you've read Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey or or know about story structure, calls to adventure are generally unpleasant triggers that trigger an adventure. You know, it's usually something not prepared for, it's something you don't prepare for, but it's something that you are ready for, whether you think you are or not. That's why it's a call to adventure. It's not like something terrible that happens that defeats you. It's something unexpected that, yeah, it can be terrible, but it then, it liberates you essentially to move on and do something really special with your life. You know, there's all sorts of well-written stories, whether they're legends and myths or books, classic literature, or modern movies that follow this excellent story structure. So take your pick and get some inspiration from something like that. I like Star Wars Episode 4. The call to adventure is pretty scary. For Luke, it's sad, but you know, things like that happen. When I was meditating on your energy, the first thing I saw was a chain link fence that turned to rust and crumbled. So I get the sense of some boundary or barricade that has just dissolved over time. Then I got another view. It was a stick with a marshmallow on it over a fire pit, and the marshmallow slipped off, fell into the fire pit, and there are a few people around the fire that started laughing about it. They thought it was very funny. And then a third thing, these were three distinct images that came in rapid succession. And then a third thing was like a person, probably you, with like a laser beam shooting out of their third eye straight up into space and right at the star Polaris, which currently in this epoch of roughly 2,200 years, it's our North Star. And it's in the constellation of Ursa Minor. So I don't know if that has any significance, but this North Star, campfire with the marshmallow, chain link fence, the marshmallow's burning, the people are laughing. I pulled a couple of symbols from my own divination system, and I got air and the companion. And then I pulled an I Ching hexagram and got traveling. I know I'm throwing all this at you really fast, but I think it made a pretty coherent message. So the I Ching hexagram is 56 with the 6 changing line, changing to little exceeding, which I think is 62. So traveling to little exceeding. And this is where I get this call to action, this hero's journey that's beginning for you. And it's not a journey that you do alone. It's a journey that you meet kindred spirits along the way, or perhaps you set out with kindred spirits, kind of like maybe some Lord of the Rings thing where you have your whole fellowship right at the beginning there. I'm not sure, but whatever has changed, been disrupted in your life, whatever has come to an end, has allowed a new beginning, and it's a new beginning that you don't go through alone. There's a lot of mutual support around you, fellow travelers. But there is also some stubbornness and pride in one of these travelers. I'm not sure if it's you or someone else. Perhaps we'll get some more clarity with the tarot cards in a bit. But this has an image with it in the I Ching of a bird's nest on fire, an unwelcome, stubborn, proud person who's like unwelcome in a traveling party, and it's basically like having nowhere to stay because of some stubbornness or pride, or losing a place to stay because of a disaster or something. You know, the bird's nest on fire is that, you know, you got nowhere to lay your head. You have to move. It might also have something to do with living with your choices, going through the consequences of your choices and past actions, and you know, you make your bed and lie in it, and like now This is an episode of dealing with all of your past choices and feeling the consequences and living through the consequences of them, whether they're good or bad. They have basically taken the seat out from under your butt and have put you in this place where now you need to go somewhere. And something that supported you in the past might not be there now. Another image that they put in the Yao text for this I Ching hexagram is losing a cow in a field. And what this generally refers to is like losing something that assisted you, something or someone who was a good assistant, or that was a good assistant. Something that was useful to you is now gone. So there's a lot of disruption that occurred in your life, and now you're sort of cast adrift, but you've got a direction. It feels like there was something that, some maybe dream you had a very long time ago, some idea that you had for your future, which couldn't be realized for whatever reason. But now that chain link fence has long since rusted and disappeared, and it may have rusted and disappeared without you noticing. It just happened over time. So whatever was keeping you boxed in isn't there anymore. And then after that boundary dissolved, something happened. Something kind of got rid of things that you depend on, or something about your support network that vanished or has been disrupted or removed from your access. And now you'll realize, oh, that chain link fence or that boundary that was keeping me boxed in, it's not actually here anymore. Okay, so this disaster, this ending of this last chapter or whatever, it's not such a bad thing. Now I can do that thing that I was unable to do before. I'm able to go on this adventure I've always wanted to go on. I'm able to fulfill that dream I've always wanted to fulfill. This thing that seems disastrous and terrible, and like I said, maybe it is a blessing in disguise. Now you're free, you know? Like, your attachments are a lot fewer. Your responsibilities to a specific thing, maybe to a specific place or specific people or a specific event or specific work, something like that, is gone now, and you're free to do something else. So whenever I get this I Ching hexagram, the two elements are fire on the mountain, over the mountain. And I always think of the Grateful Dead and those lyrics go along with this idea of stubbornness and the bird's nest on fire. The lyrics are about like a person who is like too busy for their own good, a person who burns the candle at both ends, a person who is very selfish and only, cares about getting what they think is theirs, and is kind of like has a path of destruction in their, like leaves destruction in their wake. The lyrics compare this person to a dragon messing up a town. It's about like a person who is just kind of out of touch with reality and is just beating a warpath to their own success and ambitions. And like, as the kids say, has no chill, someone who just is not a chill or relaxed individual. So maybe these lyrics have some significance for you. Maybe it's some energy that you want to avoid, maybe something that you have to work on, or maybe it's a person that you need to avoid, some unwelcome fellow traveler, an unwelcome energy in your life that you need to travel away from. Something like that, I'm not sure. But let's start pulling some cards here for you, and we'll see what we can get to clarify this. So this got the air element and the companion. So this is like freedom of thought, freedom of mind. Perhaps ideas that you had to stifle in the past are now free to move around and blossom and guide you. Things that you just couldn't express before can now be expressed. Maybe there were people in your life that you couldn't express these things with, but now you can with different people. Something like that. we have the Magician coming out on the air, and I'll pull a card for the Companion right away just to get a more holistic picture here. And we got the Ten of Wands. So here we have this idea that you can now freely create and follow your dreams, and you're simultaneously leaving one burden behind that no longer suits you and adopting a new, I don't want to say burden, but a new set of tasks and goals, and a new group of people that you can carry with you that will feel like less of a burden, but just as important. So here we have this is a really interesting dynamic when you can rapidly leave like one group of people or one sort of mentality and join another, like running away with the circus kind of a thing. It doesn't happen very often in many people's lives, unless it's like changing a job or something like that, where you can quickly abandon one thing that is like deleterious to you and move into a new thing that's very helpful for you. And that's what's happening. So if you have some type of opportunity like that, at this time, it's really not too good to be true if that's something you were worried about. It's let's see here about this this stubborn energy, this sort of proud energy. Okay, so we have the Princess, aka the Page of Pentacles, coming out for this stubbornness. So something made me think of a crypto bro. I don't know if you know the type, but like financiers, amateur financiers who believe they know a lot about the economic system, that type of person. This is going to be pretty stereotyping right now, but I don't know if you've ever been to a party where there's like a crypto bro and he just wants to talk your ear off about the futures and things like that, you know, investments in digital assets and stuff, and he just thinks it's a sure thing and it's the greatest thing, and everyone who doesn't invest all their money in it is stupid and is missing out, and they just want to talk your ear off about this sort of stuff. And they really, really have beliefs almost to like a religious level in this sort of future digital economy with blockchain and all that sort of stuff. Now this might be a little too specific for most of you, but it's an energy like that where there's this person who believes so much in some type of sure thing that they're essentially gambling on, and they want you to gamble on it as well. I think that's inadvisable. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You know, your situation is yours, your money is yours. If you think you can do something good with it, just keep your head above water, understand exactly what's going on. But I get the feeling that this person doesn't really want to listen to reason because they just don't know any better. They're just kind of immature and maybe got taken in by these ideas, or maybe they're just like really, really desperate for money and they want to believe in this sort of stuff. And it doesn't have to be with like cryptocurrencies and digital assets, but there's like some money-making methodology that they really, really believe in to a fault, to where they can't see the shortcomings with it, and they think they're really, really smart. They think they're like above average, or that this is going to be a sure thing for them. And hell, it might be. I can't see here whether or not it's going to be good or bad for them. I'll see if I can get clarity on it. Yeah, it might work out for them. Huh. But you might just need a breather from them anyway. That's funny. It might work out for them, this idea, but they're very proud and stubborn. And if you do decide to follow their advice, just be really careful and sound, you know, buy low, sell high, look at the things every day. Don't hold on to it for too long if it looks bad. Like, you know, make sure you do your research. And But I think it's their attitude that is what is unwelcome here. Maybe their advice is good, but perhaps you can do this thing or make this investment on your own. You don't need to clue them in. You don't need to do it with them. You don't need to utilize their resources or go about it in the way they say. Maybe there's something good that they say, that they know about, that sparked something in you that you learned from them. They maybe opened your eyes to something interesting that you could maybe invest in or work on or spend some time on. And it doesn't have to just be financial. It can be investing your energy into something, some type of activity. It could be even like, something like getting a gym membership at a certain place or something like that. But maybe don't do it with them, or don't do it on their terms, because I get the feeling that they might want to ask for a percentage from you. They might be looking for finder's fees and stuff like that. They might be trying to make easy money off of you with this idea, because it might be a good thing. It might be a sure thing that's lucrative, but they want to kind of leech off of what you're doing, and they don't really care about you. They just see opportunities. They're opportunists looking for easy paydays. So if this person did teach you something worthwhile, just take that knowledge. Don't give them any hint that you're interested in it. Just say, oh, thanks, that's cool, whatever, I don't care. And then live your life, go about your business, maybe invest in what they're talking about, do your own research, do it on your own, and just don't talk to this person anymore. We'll cut them out of it and pretend like you're not interested with them. But I do see, if you navigate this carefully, you have a bright future about it. And if it just seems like pie in the sky, bad deal, then, obviously follow your intuition, follow your gut here, and just don't even worry about it. Because this hero's journey, this opportunity is going to lead you to your happiness. And it's just this character is just going to be like, just that, like in story terms, just like that sort of character that bothers you along the way, that sort of interesting comedic relief or annoyance or temptation that you have to ignore, or some, mosquito in your ear that you got to get rid of, like that sort of idea. But yeah, there is a lot of potential for you to just have a new journey that's kind of mysterious, like what it is. It's going to be different for all of you, but it's something that you're not going to find a lot of rest for a little while. That's not in the cards, so to speak. You're going to be, on the road, so to speak, if you're actually traveling, or if it's just you have a lot of new things to do now, and it's not going to be a restful time, but it's going to be interesting. It's not going to feel like it sucks. It's not going to feel like, you're going to have like a purpose. This is like your adventure. You don't rest on an adventure, You sleep under a tree with a thin blanket, and you move on the next morning, because it's important. It's purposeful. Ooh, 3 things want to come out here. Oh, there's that third eye again. All right, so here we have the Earth and the ascetic, and the number 10, I believe. Yeah, 10. And the bear. All right, so we have some earth and air element coming in here. That third eye again, I mentioned Polaris and the third eye laser beam thing that I saw, and the bear. So here we have slow and steady movement and growth and strength on the way. Like this hero's journey you're embarking on is something that you can totally handle. You're in your element. There's it's like a good solid pace that you're going to be walking at, and good solid results coming from it, and like every step is going to be like purposeful and joyful. So don't fear anything. You know, it's funny, a lot of times, especially like in the part of the world where I live, we have lots of black bear, and naturally so many different types of animals and people are like really afraid of black bear. Everybody gets scared when they see one, and you know, they call the police and just say, oh, I gotta let you know there's a black bear here. But the thing is like black bears are just as scared of us and of some other animals. I used to have a cat that would chase black bears. It was a sight to behold, and these bears were terrified of this little domesticated short hair. And so you might feel afraid, like, but you have no reason to be. Like, you know, the things that you're afraid of are just as afraid of you. So you're a strong, large force to be reckoned with, that like when you walk through the forest, all the other animals clear out, and the only threat to you will be you know, domestic short hairs. But everything else is not something you need to worry about. So you can safely like remove your fear. It's not founded. You're a very strong force, and you're very well grounded here, and you have a lot of vision and sight, and now that you're liberated and you're free, the boundaries have come down, and you can now like see your life from a higher perspective, and you have your North Star. There is something guiding you forward. There is something that is just your true north that you can see so clearly, that your third eye is just absolutely connected to, unmistakably, and that is going to lead you forward. So if there's something coming to mind as I'm saying this right now, investigate and research that, look into that, follow that. That could very well be your guiding light that's going to bring you through this journey, this sort of you know, restless period of your life. You know, restless in a good way, restless in like you're doing something, you're on an adventure, and you do have a guiding light. You're not just wandering in the wilderness without direction. You have a direction. If you can't see it now, really, you will see it if you just think about it. Open up that third eye, look at your North Star. It's there right in front of you, just waiting for you to notice it and follow it. So I think, Pisces, that's where I'm going to leave it for you today. I think that's everything the Oracle and I have got for you right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate it when you stop by. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.